If it's not faith, then what is it?
You want to tell me, or would you like to shut up so I can talk?
I just asked you if it's not faith, what is it? How do you know?
Okay. I know because we have evidence of the boats. We have evidence of where they went.
Answer my
we have
question?
evidence. Yes, I did, David, twice. You're just roboting too bad you can't hear.
Tell me again. Tell me what latitude? At what latitude in the year 2021 can you circumnavigate the Earth?
The 40th southern parallel.
Can you legally circumnavigate? No, just tell me what latitude. Why don't you tell me the number?
40.
You're breaking up, David. That's what we're telling you.
What countries would you fly through on this 40?
Seeing as it was sailboats, they didn't fly through any countries. Because sailboats don't fly.
Oh, okay.
David, you are breaking up.
Can you circumnavigate the Earth in 2021? Please answer the question. Overland? All right.
David, you're breaking up.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm not. You sound great now, man.
All we heard was
you
21.
Hear me now?
Yes. Are you ready to hear my answer?
So how do you tell us how you go around, how you circumnavigate the world? Can you tell us how you do that? Tell us how you do it.
Yeah. Well, what they did on the Vendée Globe was they left from Vendée, France. They went south through the ocean. They then, because it's an upwind race, turned left, sailed south of Australia, New Zealand. Then they continued around. They came out the southern end of South America, where they sailed back north through the ocean and ended in Vendée, France, as demonstrated by the tracking chart I posted in the chat.
Question is, why did you believe it?
Because we have photos, we have videos, and we have firsthand information. We have firsthand sightings of these boats at the different continents that they were at when they broke.
Why did you believe all that? When asking why you believe
why ask why on every answer you've been given, man?
I just want to know why. Why would you believe that?
No, why are you asking why? For every answer question,
does it boil down that it's just faith?
Why?
No, it's not.
So why do you believe all that evidence?
Because it
is evidence, as you just said it.
The preponderance of evidence says that it's real. Why would I discount all the evidence I have because some crazy nutter doesn't know how to look up what level means?
Because you can't verify any of that for yourself.
Except I can.
Oh, you can? You can sail around, you can sail where they sailed, yeah?
Yep.
Well, let's take a look. That's what we're talking about. Give us a look at what the globe looks like going around on a ship.
I mean, I've already done it when I was a kid.
Ugh. We've all done things when we were kids. What about today in 2021?
Yeah. I'm fat, old, and lazy now.
Ah.
Also, I live in a landlocked state and don't own a boat anymore, so
not being funny
to do right now,
but you said you're old, you could be senile. How do we know you're not?
It's true. I mean, I could be senile.
Could be. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying, how do we know that you're not?
I could be a raving alcoholic who
We do
only
get a
gets
lot of
on here
alcoholics on here, right?
and rants and raves about my femboys.
Yeah,
That
you
is
could just be
something
like,
that it
"Oh,
could
the
be.
Earth is a globe. It's the globe. It's spinning." You know, just like the
That's
end of the world. The end is nigh. How do we know
But
you're not
I think
delusional?
Timo, why
I think
why do you believe the
I think I've
times
been
is?
on here. I think I've been on here enough, and I've talked enough that most people have a pretty decent view of my character and who
Mhm.
I am, and know that's not what I do.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're making these claims about ships going around the globe, not being able to
Yep.
demonstrate in any way that that's true.
Actually, I did.
What, by providing a website?
I've showed you the tracking data. I've showed you the photos of the boats in the different locations. I've showed you the broken boats in the different locations. I've showed you the GPS data from when the boats sank. What else would you like, Chemo?
Well, I'd like you to not be so gullible.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm the one who has evidence and logic and reason. You're the one who says I shouldn't trust what anybody other than a flurf says.
I'm saying that you're saying you have these things. You haven't validated it for yourself. But you trust them.
Except
That's
I
faith.
have. I know an EPIRB system works.
Hmm?
I know an EPIRB system works.
You know how an E something system
EPIRB.
works?
Yeah. Yep.
Again, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out how we know that you know what you're talking about.
Why don't you look up what an EPIRB system is?
And how will that prove the globe?
Go on, I'll wait.
How will it prove the globe?
I don't know. Maybe when
I
you
don't
tell us
know
what it
either.
is.
That's my point. So you could be, again,
Maybe you
not being
should.
rude, but
What
you
is
could
one?
be senile
What is
to
one?
think that this thing would prove the globe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could
Could be.
but or you could be a raving fundamental lunatic.
I could be. The only one way to find out by demonstrating the
Yeah,
claims that we
there
make.
is one way to find out. It's to listen to you. And
Yeah,
when you come on and you say crazy things like
I do. People say you're crazy. I'm like, well, there's only one way to find out. If I'm saying you're senile, you're like, there's only one way to find out. I'm going to show you that we're on a globe. I'm not senile. I know exactly what I'm talking about. You know?
ooh, did that hurt a little too close to home, Chemo?
No, what I've just
Sorry.
said, if you knew what you were talking about, you would say so, right?
You got a little triggered on that one.
Right?
It's okay, dude. I understand. I would not like being called crazy every day of my life either.
I know you got. It's like talking. It's like talking.
I'm
to a
sorry, Dallas. I'm just going to turn you
brick
down until
wall.
you fix your internet. I cannot understand a word you
I
say.
mean, you gotta
breaking up.
the mental block is you got it as a mental block.
Just mute him, Chemo.
Wow.
You love your mute button.
Good when I come back.
Okay, and when you come back, you can tell us what an EPIRB system is and why they're required in all ships. Or all large ships, anyway.
You're full of crap.
I'm sorry, David. What's the matter?
I said you are full of crap.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say something incorrect? Please, will you please correct me? I don't like to be wrong.
Tell me at what latitude you can circumnavigate the Earth in 2021 legally.
Same as
40
you
degrees
could the
south.
year ago, David, and the year before that, and the year before that, and so
At
on.
what latitude? Tell me again. Tell me again.
The Vendée Globes use the 40-degree south parallel as their ice exclusion zone, the line that it was too dangerous for the sailboats to sail any further south for risk of running
We're not
into.
talking about a sailboat. We're talking about legally being able to circumnavigate the world in 2021. Can you
Right.
tell me what latitude that is that I can on in the year right now? I can just get on airplanes, boats, cars, whatever I want to, and fly around the world, circumnavigate it. At what latitude is that?
Okay, David, repeat after me. 40 south.
Tell me the countries. If you where are you going to start at? Start in the United States and tell me which way you're going.
Repeat after me, David. 40 south.
I don't want to hear about 40 south. I don't. What do you mean
Okay,
40
cool.
south?
You did hear the answer to the question. Awesome.
If I may,
40 south. How does that even make any sense?
You asked for latitude, David. What do you want?
David, there's a
didn't
route
say
that you can take
longitude.
that was done. It's called One More Orbit. They circumnavigated the globe over the poles. Look at those 4 locations and take that flight plan.
If I walked out my front door right now, and
Can you
said,
acknowledge what I said? David, did you hear me? And do you acknowledge what I
We
said?
don't want to hear about your spaceships. Chemo's already talked to you about that.
David,
If I walked out my front door
David,
right now as an American
David,
citizen,
I'm
as
gonna
a
keep
world
because you're not listening to me,
citizen,
David. So I'm gonna
what
make sure you understand
latitude-
this point. David,
Bye, Bobo.
this is an aircraft. It's not a spacecraft. This is an aircraft flight plan that has been executed to circumnavigate the globe over the poles. It's called One More Orbit. I'll send you the link to the website.
We didn't want a straw man over here.
I wasn't strong, man. You were asking at what latitude you could execute a flight to circumnavigate the globe. Here is the actual. It's been done. Here are the locations, the latitude and longitudes of each location. There are 4. It had to be done in 4 segments because you can't do it in one shot in that aircraft. So have a look.
Fuck. Sorry.
Look at that. Nothing to say now, right?
Rocket, you know we're not going to believe that nonsense.
Kimo, this has been documented that it's been executed. It's actually in the Guinness Book of World Records for the fastest circumnavigation flight. The data is there. There's a YouTube video stream that's there. Like, it's done. Okay, you've been done a long time ago, anyways. But there it is. It's been circumnavigated.
As an American citizen, as a world citizen, what latitude can I walk out my front door and circumnavigate the world on?
They said
walk out your front door and take a left and keep going. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck you're asking.
You can't go beyond the
Let me
60th
put-
degree, David.
Here, I'll put And what is you got to go all the way to the equator to do it, don't you? You got to go to 0 latitude before you can even think about circumnavigating the world, right?
No.
That's the only place that you can circumnavigate it.
No.
Supposedly, you're not flying through. You're not flying into China. You're not flying anything west. The only thing you're flying west is Australia and Japan. That's it.
And you can't prove otherwise, ball earthers. With all your satellites, all your rockets.
Let me put a Mercator map in the chat, and then you can see at what latitude you can
Can't go beyond the 60th parallel, David. But I think Kool-Aid said
David,
40th.
Why is it called a Mercator projection?
We're just
David, I posted a screen cap of Flight Tracker. These are all of the aircraft, commercial aircraft in flight right now.
You're breaking up again, David.
Lines. That's what we're looking. There we go. All right.
Tell me that given all the routes that are available, you can circumnavigate the globe?
Yeah, this is all nonsense what you're providing here. No one's ever going to believe that.
Hang on. No. Let's stop the shit. You want to fight me on spacecraft satellite flying. I know you're an idiot and you do your second law of thermodynamics bullshit in space. These are commercially... You can go to Expedia.com and arrange these flights.
I think that goes over the North and South Pole.
Some of the flights do. When I flew back to Canada from Frankfurt to Calgary, guess which route that it took?
You think you went over the North Pole?
Maybe not exactly, but it was a polar. It was an extreme northern flight.
Not the North Pole.
Take a look. Really, Frankfurt to Calgary. Let's see what the flight path is.
I don't know. I mean, again, those things are not really, evidence of curvature, evidence of a globe.
I was on that flight. What the fuck are you talking about now?
Anyway, David, you can ask your question again.
No, Chemo. No. Fuck you. You don't get to just dismiss me anyway and try to brush me aside like that.
No, but
I'm not some newbie in this server that you can do that to.
I'm saying that these things are not really suitable for demonstrations.
This is a commercial flight, you fucking numpty.
We get told that about from Santiago to Sydney, yes? And it's the same thing. We cannot verify those kinds of flights, Rocket. Sorry, it's unfortunate, but it's not.
They were verified.
What nonsense is that?
Chemo. Yeah. Wolfie has his circumnavigation of the Earth with the GPS data on his side. What are you talking about? What do you mean you can't verify? You can't, of course, if you won't take a step up out of your door, go to the airport and start circumnavigate, you can't.
Where's David gone? Oh, David's gone.
Do you know how to do celestial navigation, Kimo?
David's back. Celestial navigation. I've never done that before. No.
Well, right now they're actually doing training classes and training up the new team of sailors for the 2022 Golden Globe race, which is a unique race because they're...
Draw your circle on my little map. The little map I just put in the chat. Draw your circumnavigation on that map, please. You know how you drew that little green circle? Draw it on the Mercator map and show us how you circumnavigate the Earth.
David, do you ever hear that somebody else is talking? You just come right in over the top.
Before I break up again, that's what I want to tell him.
No one cares about what you have to say, so I'm just going to keep talking now. What's cool about the Golden Globe is they're actually not using any of the modern technology. They're going to go ahead and use the old school stellar navigation to circumnavigate the world, the same way it's been done for thousands of years. This time they're going to get a little bit more economic and green, and even charge them for the amount of fuel that they burn in their stove to cook dinner.
You probably think you could see Polaris from Russia. That's how stupid you are. Go ahead.
I mean,
Why
these
wouldn't
things
you be
again
able to?
are
Why would
not.
you be able to see Polaris from Russia?
We'll prove
Why
it.
is that a hard thing to do?
You can't see Polaris from Russia.
I think you
moron.
can, Dave. I think it's been cited.
No,
Prove it, David.
only from Moscow. That's it.
That's Russia.
Nothing nowhere else in all of Russia can it be seen.
That's
Dave,
that's
what you said was
idiotic.
so stupid that even chemo is disagreeing with you.
Yeah, that's because you guys are morons. You're under
I knew you would
communist
say that.
mind control. We already know.
As intelligent as
Yeah.
David has sounded today.
Show me
bet
on that
culture-
Mercator map how you circumnavigate the world. Just draw your little circle, draw your little map. Let's see how smart you are.
David, it was done. It was done.
You notice how he
Circle
pulled
was-
out his
David,
little green marker and put it on that other map.
David,
Just draw
shut
your
up.
circle on that
You've
Mercator
been
map
given
and show
a
us that
circle
plane
on that map. You've been given a
flying
circle.
around the world.
David, you've been given a
Not gonna do
circle
it,
on
are
that
you?
map.
No, they probably won't do that, David.
No, they did.
Oh,
Why
they
you
did.
say don't?
Oh, you did it.
One more orbit was drawn on David's map.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't want to argue too much with you guys. I mean, I think we've become very
Yeah,
close
because you
now,
have no
and
evidence or position to
I would
argue.
feel bad making you feel bad. So, very difficult to discuss these things nowadays. We're like a family,
Kimo,
aren't we, almost?
Just to confirm, you're telling me that you can't arrange commercial flights to circumnavigate the globe? Is this what you're telling me?
There's just no way of verifying if it's a globe or not, Rocket. That's the problem. The only way we can verify...
Can you stop moving the goalposts all the fucking time?
Yeah, flight don't tell you if you're on a ball. They're not dropping their nose to go around the horizon, so that's not a way we'll know. Flying around, you're inside the plane, sitting back, drinking champagne, you're not going to know. The only way you're going to know, and like I say, this is why we're very strict. Which is why I say I don't want to really hassle you guys on the important points. See? Like I said,
Okay,
it feels
Kimo.
like we become so
I
close.
think airplanes are too complicated for chemo. This is why I talk sailboats. Sailboats are big, fat, and slow. When we're only talking 5 knots, we don't have to talk about stupid things like I don't understand that airplanes wouldn't dip their nose to not fly off into space because they use pressure gradients.
Yeah, but I don't know how you go from navigating around the globe to proving it's a globe. How does that make sense? You're not going to sail and know you're on a globe, or fly and know you're on a globe.
Would you like me to explain it to you?
Sure.
Okay. You have distance you've gone. Or, I'm sorry, you have time it's taken you to go from point A to point B. And you have your speed, which gives you the distance from point A to point B. Right?
Got your distance from point A to point B. How am I figuring out curvature like this?
Okay. No, stand by.
Okay.
A to B doesn't give it to us.
Okay.
A to B, C to D to E to G to W. All the points on when you attempt to plot them out with the correct distances, there's only one 3-dimensional shape will allow that to work.
Yeah, that's based on a presupposition, though, Kool-Aid. That's if we presuppose the globe, then this is what
what's
the
presupposition?
coordinates...
No.
Mm-hmm. You know.
I have distances between... You can do it with 3. With 3 major cities. You know the exact distances between them.
Okay, but
I
again,
have
this
to know
doesn't
that.
show that
I have to know this in boating because I need to know exactly how much fuel it's going to cost to get from point A to point B, so I don't A, run out in the middle, or B, charge too much and have a lot extra that I have to haul and be inefficient.
This is why the flat earthers get so angry and mad and all this kind of stuff. We're asking you a very simple question. How can you go from
And I'm
sailing on
giving
the
you a
water
very
to
simple answer.
understanding you're going round curvature?
Because if you want the distances to add up, the distances we know are true, then the only way you can place them is to use a three-dimensional shape, specifically a sphere when you get to most of the, or when you get to more than 3 points. Points, you could theoretically do it on
I'm not digging
a
that.
triangle or something.
I'm not digging that. I don't know how you're figuring out curvature. You're presupposing the ball and saying this only works on a ball, but you presuppose that. How do you sail and
No,
detect curvature?
I presupposed it was a three-dimensional, that the Earth was three-dimensional.
Yeah, it doesn't jive well.
Is the Earth
No?
You don't think the Earth is three-dimensional?
Now, again, you're saying that the Earth is curving. That doesn't jive with the boat. How you getting that? How you get from boat to curvature?
Distance.
You're like, I'm sailing. Oh yeah, it must be curved. You wouldn't think that.
Distances came up.
You wouldn't think I'm going over curvature.
Thank you, Larry. I thought that was the case.
So you see what's the problem is that you're saying that I'm either flying, I know you're not saying flying, but people say we fly around, like Rocket's saying here, we fly around. You're saying we sail around. That still doesn't tell you want to, this can all work on a flat plane.
Nope. Distances will be wildly inaccurate.
Right, well, plot it out as you travel and use it as a flat plane.
Yeah. Here's the problem when I do that, Chemo.
What?
I used the azimuthal equidirection
No.
AE map, however you say it.
Don't do any of that. Use no maps, none of that. Start from where you are, where your boat is, and start mapping what you see where you are, and see how it works on a flat plane.
Sure.
Yeah.
Why don't we use something where we have the data for it?
No,
Say
no
the data
models.
from the Vendée Globe.
We're going to make it from scratch.
No, right. I'm talking about the raw data.
Huh?
Why don't we use the information from the Vendée?
No, you're just going to plot out your boat trip and show. I mean, again, I don't know how you get curvature from this. If you just plot it out as you're doing it, where does that mean curvature? Going, you're sailing, you're plotting, still no curvature. You're plotting distances, still no curvature. You go back, plotting, still no curvature. So now you've got your data, what you've plotted.
As soon as you got 4 spots.
Now you've got the data in front of you on a piece of paper. Why do you have to presuppose curvature now?
Because you can't make it work on a flat plane when you
as soon as
you have 4 locations.
Not listening. Start off on a flat piece of paper. You plot out your trip on that piece of paper or on that chart as you're doing it. So wherever you go, you measure distances, you plot it out, you don't include no curvature. So we've got this now mapped out, what you've got. We know how far, if we follow your map on this flat piece of paper, what's the problem? How does that infer
distances between points 1, 2, 3, and 4 will not be accurate.
Not hearing
or
me.
My
not
map
listening. If you leave on your boat, go wherever around the world, wherever you want, and then give me your map. Say, here's where I've been. Follow this map. How does that tell me I can look at your map and not see any curvature anywhere and just follow your map to the destination and come back? Where do I include or presuppose curvature? You've already mapped it out.
Okay. If you look at the maps and you put them side by side,
not listening,
they won't
this
line
is
up.
our map, the only map we need. Throw away every other map. We're going to use the first map, your map, that you plot out for the very first time. Wherever you go on that boat is where we're going to plot. If you haven't been there, we're not going to plot it. If you want to plot it, you've got to go there. Now, after we plotted this, you print the map 10 times, we give it to 10 people, we say, follow this map. They follow the
Like
map, they find the treasure. There's no curvature involved. What's the problem? We're going to use this flat piece of paper as the map. What's the problem?
The spot that I would need to place the locations would not fall on that piece of paper.
How so?
In order for the distances to be accurate from all points, I would not be able to put it far enough away from, let's say, South America and the tip of Africa.
You're going to use a computer screen, then, a flat computer screen.
Okay, cool. I don't care what flat surface I'm on. I cannot place that point far enough away from my starting place here in America. And correction, it would be too far away from the place here in America if I were to try to place it after going to South America.
I don't understand. You want to go to South America, yeah?
Odd.
Your idea is to go to South America, yeah? So
Okay.
you plot your starting point, sail to South America.
Sure.
Write that down, the distance, path, everything you need to. You sail back. Now what's your problem? You now know the distance between you and South America. What else?
Okay.
Why do you need curvature now?
I need for between two. I don't.
No, I'm saying no. Hold on, stop. We're getting the measurements and distances. We're not measuring curvature. We're measuring. In your boat, you can only measure distance.
And stop asking for measurements of curvature if you're not measuring curvature.
You can only measure
Or are you measuring curvature? Do you know what you're asking for, Chemo? It really sounds like you don't. You're kind of spiraling.
I'm asking
Would
for
you like
how
a minute
you'd measure
to
curvature, how you
reset
measure
your
the
script?
globe, and you're talking about sailing from one point to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell you what, Chemo. Take a drink of Kool-Aid. Go ahead and reset your script, and then we'll pick this up again when you figure out what you're asking for.
Yeah, I'm asking to you, how by sailing you're figuring out you're on a ball?
Okay, I'm going to try this one more time, and then I'm going to get off the Chemo go around for a while.
Okay.
Distances between multiple locations.
Have you measured those distances?
Yes.
Okay, so you measure those distances on what?
And the only way that you can plot them with the correct distances between those locations is using a three-dimensional shape, such as a sphere.
Okay, so you're not making any sense.
I apologize. That's as basic as I can make it.
All you're doing is plotting distance on your boat.
Correct. Yep, that's it.
You're not measuring curvature.
Right.
So if you plot the distance from America to South America, that's just the distance. That's all the information you have.
Now I only have 2 spots.
At the moment,
How many spots did I say you need to find curvature?
We're not presupposing curvature. What are you talking about?
Okay.
So you've measured the distance to
You
South
didn't
America.
listen to what I said. And I said I was going to get off the Chemo go round now, so anybody else want to try, have fun.
Another one bites the dust. See, when
Why are
you
you
guys
presupposing
try to
it's
make
flat?
What?
Why are you presupposing it's flat, Chemo?
I'm not presupposing anything. I'm just measuring the distance from one place to another.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let's take 4. Let's take 4 points that we could measure.
No.
Say Seattle,
Why are
Los
we taking 4
Angeles,
points
Miami,
for?
and Boston.
Why are we taking 4 points? What's the point of that?
Oh, because we need 4 points, Chemo.
For what?
I'll tell you why. If you'll give me a second,
Okay.
I'll explain it to you. Take these 4 points. Take Seattle, Los Angeles, Miami, and Boston. Measure the distances between those 4 points, then draw the diagonals. That's more or less a square. Okay. Draw the diagonals. You can make one diagonal work, and the other one will never work. If you make the other one work, then the first one doesn't work. The only way you can make it work is on a sphere.
Right, this is where the confusion comes. Got 4 points.
Confusion.
Yeah, I'm confused now. You measure, got A, B, C, and D. Measure A to B. Then you measure A to C. D. What's the problem?
A to B, B to C, C to D, D to A, and A to C, and B to D. You need those. You need those six lines.
Yeah. What's the problem?
You can't make it work.
What do you mean?
Anything other than a sphere.
I don't know. I don't get you mean. What can't you make work?
Distances will not work. You can get the four sides to
doesn't
work.
make sense.
You can get one diagonal to work, but the other diagonal will not work. It's just that simple.
So if
You can
I
bitch about it all you want to,
whoa. So if I travel from A to C, you're saying it won't be the same distance.
And that's not what I'm saying at all. You heard what I said.
A to C,
Try to
and
arrange,
then D
try
to
to
B.
arrange those 4 points, those 4 distances.
Yeah, this doesn't make any
Flat
sense.
piece of paper. Try to arrange those 4 distances on that form that square on a flat sheet of paper, and you can make one diagonal come out to the right distance. But as soon as you do, the second diagonal will not work. It will never work.
So if you've got 4 houses on a surface, and you measure between them all, what are you saying here? The 4 houses on the corner where A, B, and C is. They're in the street.
I thought it was pretty clear.
No, let's say they're in the streets.
I'll go through it with you again one more time.
Yeah.
Like a house in Seattle, a house in Los Angeles,
No,
a house in
not
Miami,
that
and a
far.
house in
Why are you
Boston.
going that far? Stay in the
You
neighborhood.
gotta have. Well, you need because the world is a really, really big thing.
No. Start small and then let's work our way out.
No. Let's go for the goal, chemo.
Ah, there you go. You see, because if you start small in increments, it
wanna
works.
No. We don't want to start small. We're presupposing the Earth is flat. We're going to prove it once and for all.
Anything. Just start small with the
Yeah, we are.
squares. Make the square
Then
bigger,
why am I
bigger,
drawing
bigger,
it on a
bigger,
flat
bigger.
fucking piece of paper if I'm not presupposing it's flat?
No.
Why would I be drawing it on a flat piece of paper if I'm not presupposing it's flat?
Just make the square small
Wrong.
and then make it bigger, and then see where the errors come. And
I don't want to make it bigger.
Yeah, that's what
I don't want to do that. I want to make it big enough that we can determine that there is a legitimate difference.
That far.
Yeah. What are you afraid of, Kima?
Nobody can measure that far.
Why are you afraid of doing it right?
You can't measure that far from Seattle to wherever you said.
Why are you afraid of doing it correctly? Of course you can.
How?
You know the distances on Google Earth, for instance, are accurate.
How are you going to measure an absolute straight line?
We know the distances on Google Earth are accurate.
No, you need 4 straight lines, 6 straight lines. How are you going to measure 6 perfectly straight lines? And you've told Jeremy enough that you can't have straight lines.
Distances right off Google Earth if you want to. You could if you want to. If you want to spend a couple of $1 billion, we could survey those lines.
Well, there you go. Unless that's been done, Blue, it's not been done. Yes.
Oh well, get your ass out there and do it.
Well, there you go. Right now, we have so all what you're saying doesn't make sense.
Both the diagonals won't work. What's the problem? Why can't you do it?
So it hasn't been done. It would cost billions. So therefore, you're presupposing that this is how it is, and it's just on your model.
You're presupposing the Earth is flat too, Chemo.
No, we see.
Also,
making a presupposition that the Earth is flat. You want to draw this thing out on a flat piece of paper. Don't tell me you're not presupposing the Earth is flat. Of course you are.
No, I'm not taking measurements like that. I'm saying, if you're saying that this square is distorted when it's bigger and not distorted when it's smaller, that's what we need to find out.
I'm not saying that. I'm not at all saying that.
Yeah, you're saying it doesn't work when the square is huge.
It won't work when the square is small, Chemo. It's just easier to do it it's easier to see the difference.
All right, show me in a small square that doesn't work.
If you want to do it on a small square, want to do it on a small square, then do it on a small square.
Yeah, and show me where it doesn't work.
No, you show us it doesn't work.
It does work on a small
You're the one
square.
presupposing the Earth is flat. The convention and the accepted shape of the Earth is a sphere. You're the one presupposing it's flat. You need to do this. Why don't you do it?
Well, we've just been through it. Now we know that you think that these lines are distorted, and in fact they're not because no one's actually measured
I
them.
didn't say they're distorted.
Yeah, you said they won't work.
I didn't say anything about distortion. Not once did I use the word distorted.
No, I said that. You're saying that the lines don't work on these distances, yeah?
I'm saying that one of the diagonals will be the wrong distance.
Yeah, so that's distortion. On a ball, there's
That'll
no
make
distortion.
it, if you try to draw it on a flat plane.
But on a ball, there's no distortion. It works perfectly.
A distortion is just that now the distances are correct.
Yeah, presuppose on the ball. But as you've just said, no one's done this.
I'm not presupposing the ball.
Well, who's done
Well, I
this?
can't make it work on a flat thing. I've got to try something else.
Who's
not
built these
presupposing
billion-dollar
anything.
lines that you speak of?
What?
Said it would cost billions to get lines that straight to measure it.
Well, I don't know. It costs you a lot of money to get surveying crews to. Well, not necessarily if you want to do it over, say, 15 miles each
That's my
side.
point, though. No one's done
Do
this.
that.
Nobody's
You could do
done
that.
this. That's the idea. No one's done this.
Take a few. Yeah, sure, it's been done, Kima. That's what surveyors do. The guy in the stream right now that's done it. Your GPS has done this shit.
So the point is that your aeroplanes, your ships cannot detect or measure curvature through your measurement system because you're presupposing distortion and you're presupposing curvature.
We didn't say anything about distortion. Not
Yeah,
once.
I'm saying distortion.
You did.
You're saying on the flat plane they don't work
distorted.
out right. So to me, that's distortion.
Not
You're saying on
distorted.
the
They're
ball it
straight line
works.
distances. Not distorted. They're straight line distances. That's all.
Okay, well, that's not evidence. Again, it's just what we think is the case
Sure it is.
without any actual practical measurement.
Well, go get the measurements and plot it on a flat piece of paper and show it to me.
All you got to do is make a grid system.
Hmm?
A grid system.
What?
A grid system.
Grid. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, on a flat paper. On
We
a
can
flat
easily
piece of
make
paper.
grids. Yeah, we can easily do that. Sure.
Yeah, no curvature.
And what?
So that's where
Flat
we are
piece of
right
paper
now.
wouldn't have any curvature, would it?
Sorry?
A flat piece of paper wouldn't have any curvature. I agree with you. That's why we would say it's flat.
So there's still no measurements that we can actually go to and verify. That was the point. We're waiting for
Oh yeah, well Larry's got one. Larry just posted one Larry just posted one right there.
Yeah.
Those are actually
Larry's
actual measured
method is
distances.
questionable.
No.
Wixit's already dismantled your surveying stuff.
Chemo, fuck.
Well,
Chemo, ask for 3 distances in a straight line over a large portion of Earth. I did it. I didn't even charge anybody any money. Now, anybody can replicate this. Anybody can, find technical flaw with it, but be specific and replicate it yourself or find flaw with the method.
Like I said, Wixit has already dismantled the surveying techniques that are used.
Okay. What is your technical issue? I don't want to hear from Wixit. I want to hear from you. You're the expert right now. You're the one saying what can and cannot happen. And I took equipment, I went out onto the Earth, and I made physical measurements.
No, I'm asking questions about your method, how you're measuring curvature. First we heard planes from Rocket, then we heard boats from Kool-Aid, and now we're hearing squares from Blue. We're looking for the method.
Does anybody else in the chat have an issue with it? Or is Chemo stand alone?
You're all ball earthers.
Honestly,
You all stand
looks
together.
solid to me.
Of course it's solid to you. You're all ball earthers sticking together, pushing the narrative.
No, Chemo. No. Cut that shit out. Look, I've said things that are technically incorrect, and I've been corrected. Other people have said things that are technically incorrect in this chat, and I've corrected them. I don't automatically accept what Larry did just because he's a ball earther. So cut that shit out.
Well, that tends to happen a lot. Just because.
No, it doesn't. You're a lying piece of shit. It happens on the flat Earth side because what'll happen is you'll say something and then Jeremy will just agree with you, even though it's the most stupidest thing that you could possibly say.
Look,
I've heard you do it countless time. You will agree with Whitsitt when he says something incredibly stupid because you don't know any better.
If it makes sense, it makes sense.
No, it does have time. A lot of times.
Now
What he says is
you're a
bullshit, doesn't
rocket
make sense.
scientist.
And what's worse is that you actually go and agree with him.
You're a rocket scientist agreeing with a surveyor. Two completely different lines of work. Okay, you know nothing
no,
about
actually, what I do is actually not. I'm not saying that I have a total understand what Larry does, but I have to do GIS. I use GIS all the time. That's Geographic Information Systems. I have to be able to map the surface of the Earth with satellites. I do this all the time.
Oh my god!
So there's an overlap of the knowledge between what Larry and what I do. So I have at a high level, I can look at what he's done and understand it and grasp and assess whether it's valid or not. The same way he could look at some analysis that I've done on whether the coverage of a satellite is applicable to an area of interest.
So you think you've mapped the Earth with satellites?
No. Don't fucking move the goalposts, okay? Because you said something, I shot you down, I corrected you, and now you're going to try to jump on something else.
Yeah, because
address what I said.
You cleared it up. Okay, fine. Point is now you've said you
have the decent. You know, Chemo, when normal adults talk and somebody says something the way I did, the other person has the decency to acknowledge what that person said.
I said, okay, you're right.
No, you dismissed it.
No.
You brushed it aside and you went on to your next
point.
No.
I focused on what you were saying.
Because you're a rude prick.
I didn't go to a different topic. I focused on what you said.
I would think that you live at the Grand Central Station of civility, but no, you're a rude little bastard.
That's not true. I responded to what you said.
Did anybody else hear Chemo respond to what I said?
You said you mapped the Earth with satellites.
No. Chemo, I'm not asking you. Did anybody else hear Chemo respond to my point that I made, or did you just jump to the next point and move the goalposts?
No, well, okay, it wasn't directly to what you said, but it was about what you said. So I was listening.
It wasn't even about what I said. You just went to the... Thank you. See, biodual. Moving the goalposts. Thank you.
You said you mapped the Earth with satellites.
Question, what makes Whitsitt an expert? If you think a rocket scientist is out of his lane, then Whitsitt is out of his fucking lane.
Whitsitt is someone who's well-researched, doesn't make wild claims, asks the right questions, and presents arguments that are usually
and he's open-minded. A lot of these experts are myopic and dreadfully short-sighted. They have no vision, no imagination. They don't look outside of their narrow field. So even though they have all that expertise, it's effectively useless.
Lemon. I'm right here. Try me. Try Larry.
Do you have technical?
Try one of us right now. Sorry, Larry.
Do I have technical expertise? No, but at least I draw together a bunch of different threads to help solve the problem, from physics, from optics, from perspective, from history, from common sense, from a laser test from people, long-distance observations. That helps solve the problem than a myopic, short-sighted expert view.
I measured 520 miles. What did they do with the laser over in close proximity to water? That has no effect.
What good is 500 miles of measuring with a curved lens that is curving the image and making it drop away from the crosshair because of perspective and the limitations of the diffraction limit? That's where the physics theory comes in. That's where common sense, a generalist like me and others can bring together new threads outside of the short-sighted expert myopic view.
Look at the diagram. No optics were used. No optics were used. So, fuck that.
I'm looking for your thing. You said you measured 500 miles or something like that? With what?
Yeah, it's up at about 49 minutes after.
Let's see.
No optics. Because people hate optics? Okay, I'll do it without optics. Then I did it with optics. And they got the same fucking answer.
So what did you measure it with, like a laser or what?
GPS.
Oh, that's software where they take flat pictures and then they try to put it in some sort of globe software. Common sense, people. I mean, expert or not, you can see what they're doing. They're taking flat photos and just wrapping it around a curved GPS model that doesn't necessarily represent reality. We need proof that this is a a representation of reality that's accurate. It doesn't go with the lasers. I'm sorry.
EPIRB systems.
So Globe Geek Software doesn't cut it either. You know what cuts it for most flat earthers who are conspiratarded like me? A laser. Used to compare the curvature of the land against that straight standard, and the curvature is found wanting.
When Wallace
Well, we got 4 of them at LIGO.
when Wallace did his observation over the Bedford level, did he use a laser?
No, but he knew about optics, and he knew how to sight from beginning to end, unlike Wallace, the person who tried to discredit him by sighting to the middle, which adds an unnatural hump to the photo. These people are slick and tricky, so you have to meet them where they're at with their slickness and their trickery, and anticipate their eventual chicanery. And so even Bedford saw that Wallace was going to try to game the system and showed that he gamed it by sighting to the middle marker as opposed to the end marker, which would have shown flatness, not curvature. You have to be wary. People are out there trying to atheize people with this globe pagan nonsense. And they've been doing a pretty good
we
job
are.
for the past
That's our
500
job.
years.
Lemon, you are a pagan.
We're doing our best to stamp out religitards. I mean, don't you know that? That's our mission. That's what I get paid to do.
I should qualify paganism as any sort of spirituality that is not revealed by the one true God, whose son is Jesus. It's men trying to consult demons, their own figuring, their own assumptions, as opposed to the holy triune God of Scripture.
I'm just
That's
glad
paganism.
Jesus, Lemon's right.
When Jesus comes back, when Jesus comes back, he's going to slap you flat earthers on the back of the head.
Well,
That's what I heard too. Jesus is coming, and he's really pissed.
Well, it's not a salvation issue, but, you know, I was a theist religitard glober, but when I found out it was flat, I was like, you know, even more in than I was before. I'm like, this is really true. There are materialist atheist liars out there.
You're still a religitard. You just replaced that last term now.
But Lemon, you said you're not an expert. So look into the software that drives GPS. Look into it, do your own research, and look into the mechanics and the software and electronics and satellite information that goes into GPS measurement. Then you come up with an argument. You just said, oh, they do this. But you admit you're not an expert. You did not look into the software or the hardware or the methodology in any way, shape, or form. You just said you didn't do any of that, but you've declared what it does. So you're not an expert declaring what experts don't know.
I'm just a generalist. That's all. I am a generalist. And these people are experts, but some of them are real materialist, atheist, Mason, deist, deceivers who want God to be a lie. So when you come to the flat earth cosmology that's obviously created by some creator, covered by a dome, they're going to have their bias and I'm going to have mine. So all of this stuff needs to be interpreted through a lens that is at least consistent, and globe software that's from flat maps twisted around a ball may not be it.
Hey, so generalists are more apt than experts? Wow.
It depends. I mean, if they're bringing together different threads, maybe they can bring a new perspective. Sometimes outsiders can help in that way.
Well, Lemon, if there is a God, he's the one that made this sphere we live on, and you're pissing all over it. What do you think he's going to take to that when you get there?
Well, that wouldn't be biblically Christian. I mean, God is saying to Job himself in Job 38:14, it's pressed out like clay under the signet ring. Signet rings are flat, not round.
What the fuck would that prove, Lemon?
Have you seen the flat face of a signet ring? I'll put it in the chat.
Therefore, the Earth is not a sphere. That makes no sense.
I mean, you're aware that was a tube. That was a wax tube, not a flat seal, as became popular in the medieval, right?
Still got a flat face, immaterial. You need to show a round one.
You're literally claiming the Earth is a cylinder right now.
The Earth takes shape like clay under a signet ring. The thing that was pointed to was the clay flattened out. by the signet ring, if you want to be more specific. Now, if you can show a signet ring forming
Into a
it into a ball,
cylinder.
okay, now we're cooking. But these signet rings, these signet cylinders, or whatever the hell you're talking about, appear to be flattening out the image.
Well, I guess that ends the technical discourse on the measurement I made. So nobody has any problem with it, except Lemon, who thinks the Bible and a signet ring and clay is somehow logic and real. That's what an idiot.
Simple truths. And the thing is, this globe software made by a globe geek, probably by the DS Masons at NASA, is not going to go if they're taking flat pictures, and in the first place for their GPS software using a globe assumption to wrap their flat pictures around. That ain't going to work.
So you've looked into the software. You've dissected the software. Is that what you're saying?
No, I have not. I have not.
Okay, that's a very honest thing you just said. You have not looked into it, and you've declared what it does or does not do. That's good. That's good, Lemon. Very good. Very, very sincere. Very, very, very ingenuous.
Yes, but you can also tell where these things tend to go based off of the nature of the people and based off of what's on the ground. As far as I've seen, the photos that they take are flat. And so they have to take those millions and millions of composite photos and compose them into some sort of general layout. Now, if they assume a globe, they're just going to wrap it around the globe anyway, so that's immaterial. And based off the material, deist, Masonic, atheism, Satanism, or whatever of these people and their acts to grind against the Creator, I would not put it past them to lie to us one stinking bit.
Nice words, Lemon. Thank you.
So they could be telling the truth. Okay, I'm just going to need some additional indicators. Could I be just, religion-tarded or conspiratorial? Okay, I need to look into this, but I suspect it's going to be a bunch of puzzle piece composite flat photos arbitrarily wrapped around a globe construction.
Please, that's always the same thing with you. Could be, maybe, I suspect, perhaps, never anything.
That's all the globe has. Does the globe
No,
have
that's
a
all
one-off
you
photo
have.
of the whole sphere in frame? No. They have flat photos with curved shadow work.
We definitely have a one-off photo of the Earth.
And then, of course, discover epic photos. That's from a million miles out. That's an entire Earth in one single frame.
Let's look at this and see if we're seeing the same thing.
Let's do it.
With what?
I see a flat horizon curved by an optic. And when you say that you have the whole Earth in the blackness of space, you know what I see? A flat photo with curved shadow work and a nice specular highlight and some repeat clouds added for effect. What do you see?
I see the Earth as it really is.
You share it in the chat. You're just talking about something, but you didn't post anything. So, what do you mean?
Same thing with BioDual. Same thing. Flat photos curved by a lens or curved shadow work.
I see the Earth as it really is. That's the world of really is, not the world of what I want it to be.
I don't know. It seems sort of CGI-like to me.
As an expert in CGI, right, Lemon?
As an expert in common sense, you're not going to pull one over on me. I don't care how expert you are or how sold out to this system you are.
Lemon, you had to have some sense to have common sense.
Aha! I had enough sense to go from the globe to the flat.
I'd be more interested.
My eyes saw for years, and now I am awake. Thank God.
How is that gas lemon staying on that board? Can we replicate such a scientific?
Well, you could explain that if we're over a under a dome. I mean, they probably got up as far as they could, close to the dome, turned around, took a flat picture, and added some curved shadow work.
Okay, all right, Lemon.
Where is that dome?
If you're under a dome, why is there still a pressure gradient?
Because the substance of space itself is not a vacuum, it is a fluid ether that everything mixes into to give us gradients. Now, if we're nice and have nice,
Oh, no.
think
Try that
it's
again. That made
space is
zero
fluid.
sense whatsoever.
Space going around you and me, we're solid objects around you and me, is an ether, a fluidic
No ether. No, there's no ether. There's no ether.
Yes, there is.
How do you
It's already
measure
been proven
the
that there
ether?
isn't, so try again.
You can tell that there is by their behavior. They return to space to try to find the source of these forces. Quantum fluid, space-time, quantum foam, 0-point energy. They keep on returning to space looking for the stuff. So by their behavior, something's there.
We got a super chat, guys. This is from Aussie Globehead. $5 He says, Chemo, have you licked your windows today? No, Ozzy, I have kicked some Globers today. Boom, boom. Thank you very much for the super chat there.
Who was that, Chemo?
That was from Aussie Globehead.
And which Glober did you kick today?
Well, we're kicking Globers all over the place, not licking windows, aren't we? So, yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure Jem will be able to get
As for the name,
a new computer.
What's the name?
Or something. A new car.
So, Chemo, which Glober did you kick around today? Let's have the names.
Oh, I mean, any globe earther that comes up against me bites the dust.
Names, Chemo. Who? You said today, therefore you should remember who you
Kool-Aid,
spoke.
he bit the dust. Russ, he bit the dust.
I dare you to say my name. I fucking dare you.
No, we haven't had a debate yet.
I dare you to say it.
We didn't get into a debate yet, so we've only talked.
Oh, yes, we did.
Chemo.
Yes, we did.
You think you won?
That was brief.
I dare you to say
we didn't
blue.
really discuss blue. We didn't come to a conclusion. But
you won't say the names of the people who you know are going to come here and take a strip out of you when you say shit.
No, I've just
You'll
told
say
you.
names of people who are not here
Kool-Aid
and who
is
can't
here.
defend themselves.
You just saw Kool-Aid get
is he?
torn apart.
Right. But he bowed out because he's sick of your
exactly.
shit. So.
He bit the dust, and that's what's been happening.
He's muted, which is why you're saying his name.
No, I'm just saying.
No, go ahead, Chemo. Keep talking about me.
Sorry,
I like this. And, why don't we go ahead and let's talk about those maps and the fact that they all work, and let's see you obfuscate around again it.
Well, actually,
you bothered to look
I
up
was going to say to
the
Lemon
EPIRB system is?
Lemon, this is what we've been arguing about. He seems to think that if he takes his boat, sails from point A to B, C, and D, that he'll make a square, and this square will tell him that he's on a ball.
Have you done your homework and looked up what an EPIRB system is, Chemo?
No, let Lemon tackle it. Lemon, he reckons he can go A, B, C, D in a square, and then he goes, right, that can only work on a ball.
System was. I can
Well,
talk, and I can talk just as well as you can. So,
he's afraid now. I've already dismantled you, Kool-Aid. You said you come off the roundabout.
What is an EPIRB system, Chemo?
You jumped off the roundabout. Get on Lemon's roundabout, and let's see how long you last.
Okay, well, I'm learning about this flat plane myself. We can do this together. # we can do this.
Yes.
Cool. What is an EPIRB system, Lemon?
I have no idea.
I don't know what it is. I don't know. Just get to the point and try and win your argument.
Sure.
An
EPIRB system is Oh, actually it doesn't. But it is a system that is required to be on any commercial vessel or vessel carrying passengers. By law, it must be on there. Most of them are water activated. There are some of the older ones you have to actually manually activate, but what happens is when the boat goes down and this gets activated, it sends a signal to a satellite, and that then all of the other ships that are in the area and might be able to get there and rescue the people.
Oh, so it sends a signal up to the dome, it bounces off the dome over a flat plane, and the other people get the signal bounced off of the dome or off of the satelloon?
No, none of that would work. Because the time delays that are built into the EPIRB system to get the most accurate coordinates to that down ship would not match if it was bouncing off a dome and traveling twice as far as we think it is, or bouncing to a satelloon and traveling only a third the distance we think it is.
Are you talking about the Sagnac corrections made based off of the medium that's giving us these electromagnetic waves being some sort of etheric substance? Because I think that could work with ether flowing over a flat plane if you're talking about the Sagnac.
That might be able to work, but that's not what it is, so...
So I think what we have here is a signal bounce off of a satelloon or the dome or a tower with some sort of Sagnac effect delay built in there based off of the delay from going through the sludgy, trickly substance of space flowing around with me, the ether.
There's no
Sagnac effect in there, and I think that's what we're talking about.
Not even taken into account at all, because it has nothing to do with it.
The Lemon just debunked your whole entire thing there in less than 30 seconds there, Kool-Aid. What
No,
next?
he brought up a completely irrelevant effect that doesn't affect any purpose system at all.
Like a samurai.
Well, you haven't shown any sort of... Well, you need to show necessity. I think these time delays could work over a flat plane with the Sagnac effect ether.
I mean...
Any evidence for that?
Watermelons grow on trees in southern Japan. What?
I think we have different possibilities here over a flat plane that you haven't explored, probably due to myopic focus on your successful career and lack of imagination. But luckily, as an outsider, I am free to integrate threads and information that you are not, with your nice cushy job and nice cushy position in the social hierarchy.
Then explain how would it
Dude, I'm
would
a
work
YouTuber.
with the ether. How would it work on a flat plane with an ether and the Sagnac effect? Be very specific as well.
Well, we can keep it general and just easy to understand that space is a sludgy, trickly substance. You go against its flow, you're going to get Sagnac effect delays, whether or not the Earth is moving, and that could be built into these instruments without any sort of appeal to mystical relativity over a spinning ball.
So you're saying if it goes against this ether, what if it's the other direction with the ether? How do these machines know which way the ether is moving? And then if it is moving and it's having an interaction, you would expect that it would take different calculations in the opposite direction.
If it's swirling over the flat plane like a clock, there would be a swirl. You'd be going with or against the...
It'd be random every single time. Yet this EPIRB system works consistently the first time every time. So what you're bringing up is randomness when it isn't random. Way to go, Lemon. You've done good.
I don't think that this is necessary enough to show that the globe is the only game in town that can explain this. It appears that another possibility, unexplored, is flat land under a dome with a satelloon tower or something with, at best, sludgy, trickly Sagnac corrections.
Or, now wait for it, it's going to blow your mind, or it's working exactly as described.
On a ball? I don't think so.
Right, because you have to deny the ball. If you didn't have to deny the ball, you would explain the EPIRB system perfectly.
Because you don't have the curvature of the land relative to a straight standard. So that's...
So you don't have any idea how an EPIRB system works on a flat Earth. Your problem is the shape of the Earth itself.
I gave enough to work. You rejected it, so we're just going to have to agree to disagree. You need to show necessity, and I don't see enough here. You could just explain it with something else.
I brought up a very specific way in which you were wrong. You had no problem with it because you introduced randomness. You introduced in one direction it'll do something, and in another, the opposite direction, it would be opposite. All of these have to be calculated and accounted for, yet the coding doesn't allow for it. There is no calculations for that, yet it works. So your explanation is wrong. Feel free to explore other options, Lemon. That's fine. But when you offer an explanation and it's shot down easily and articulated why, move on.
No, you introduced myopia and unnecessary levels of technicality when common sense would do. We're going to have to reject what you're saying because it looks like you're missing the forest for the trees when the common sense answer, other common sense answers are available.
So you didn't address anything I said. Great job. You're doing great, Lemon. Keep it up.
You just rejected it. So
all you said is that you
have to agree to disagree because you have a totally different perspective than what I have. It is
All you
what it
s-
is.
All you said, Lemon, is that you don't believe it's true, therefore it's not true, because your level of incredulity says it's not true.
Here we go.
Lemon, I articulated exactly what was wrong with your explanation. You cannot address the way that it actually works in reality. You cannot address that. All you do is offer a an alternative, but you haven't even thought your alternative through because it was easily shot down and articulated. Not just a articulated the issue. And you had no response to that issue. So I assume you conceded that, yet you're still doubling down. So here we are.
As for you don't see a necessity for the EPIRB system, I would just like to point out the Royal Pacific ferry liner that crashed last year and 62 people in your country died, or would have died if they weren't pulled from the water by a successful EPIRB's rescue.
I think Lemon, you gone? Lemon's gone. I think Lemon.
Does that? He runs away when it gets too hot for him.
No, I mean again because you guys just
Just
go
like
around in
you do,
circles.
Chemo.
No. Because what gets exhausting is we can either be overly aggressive and say, "Are you this? What is wrong with you? Provide some," or just be like, "Look, okay, so this is what you believe, this is what you think. It's understandable, but there isn't anything practical you can show or demonstrate." So
Okay, Chemo.
it just goes around and around in a circle, really, doesn't it?
Is there anything practical you can demonstrate, Chemo?
Sorry?
Hold on. You're saying there's nothing practical we demonstrate. What
Not
about
one thing.
international? What about international shipping?
Because I mean, you need a complete breakdown of what is happening. I mean, you're not understanding the viewpoint. You have been
Chemo,
lied
can you address what the individual
Because
said?
when he
for
says
fuck's
things like
sakes?
this, he's acting like, well, we're in a world where everything is honest and people tell the truth and we can rely on these things because they're trustworthy. No.
Chemo, I have a real question for you. Did something happen to you this week? Because you've been a bigger douchebag in the last few days than I've seen you normally. Is something off with you? Did something happen?
I think that's you, not me.
So, Chemo.
Yes.
You saying international shipping? Those
Right,
giant
this is the thing,
container
Kool-Aid. You
ships.
need a complete breakdown because it seems to me you've just
Okay.
entered into this like, well, hold on, there are flat earthers. Well, what do they mean? So what we mean is that you have been lied to from day one. The whole entire operation, everything from top to bottom, has been geared to deceiving me, you, and everyone around you. Now, anytime you bring up an institution that you think is reputable...
Chemo, I've heard your speech.
Well, this is the point.
I've heard your speech.
You can't rely on any
No,
of these institutions for evidence or information. They're all a fraud.
Oh, bullshit, Chemo.
Every single one of
But
us a
Chemo,
fraud because...
Okay.
Well, go on. Well, this is what I'm saying. Either we can be like this, where we're like so
you're-
direct, or we
what
can be
you're-
like, okay, go on, tell us your story, and at the end of it, and say, well, can you demonstrate it? And you'll say, we don't get it, you
Yes.
don't understand. That's the point
We can
I'm trying to
demonstrate
express
it.
here.
No,
is
Chemo. What you're trying to do is you're trying to run from the point. The fact that we have demonstrations.
Mhm.
We have this working every single goddamn day. We know where these container ships are. We know how much fuel they have on board at any given moment. We know the amount of distance that they have to go. We know how the tidal forces are going to wreak havoc on them. We know how much fuel that's going to take. We know when these ships within the couple hours are going to reach their destination. We know all of these things. We can show you this all day, every single day. And all
Which
you
part of
say is
you have been lied to, do you
okay,
not
no,
understand?
hold on. But
Go on.
what you're saying is literally
Yep.
every single person who's ever been on a ship, including myself,
Mhm.
is lying to me.
If you want to look at it that way, or you can go out there and physically show that the Earth is curving, not using any of this nonsense GPS satellites that will give you the data that already says a presupposed ball. You could show that the
Cool.
Earth is actually curving with a practical measurement. You don't have
So let's
that.
change the subject.
What you
Let's change the
have-
subject, Chemo.
What you have
Let's
is the
change the subject,
reliance.
Chemo.
You have the reliance of
Chemo.
your government and the
Chemo.
government
I
institutions.
don't
Chemo,
care
change
about the government.
subject.
I don't care anything about that. I am talking about international shipping.
Yes.
Specifically,
All
the
been
large
deceived.
container ships that are
Like
that
he
are
can't believe it or
sailing the
something.
seas
He's like
as
trying to
we
get his
speak.
head around what? You mean all these people are lying? Yes. All these people that are giving you information about the globe are lying to you. You understand?
So who is okay? So right now you are saying
Hmm?
the engineers are lying to me
If
about
they
the
give you
efficiency
information
of the
about the
engines.
globe, yes. If they give you information
No.
about the globe, they
No.
are outright lying to you.
Chemo, stop talking for 30 seconds.
Okay.
What you're saying is the engineers are lying to me about the efficiency of the engines. The engines themselves are lying to me about their horsepower, the thrust. The through-hole water monitor is lying to me about my speed. My GPS is lying to me about my speed. My VMG indicators are all lying to me about speed. The clock is lying to me about speed. The sun is lying to me about location and distance. And Chemo, some random fuck who's been caught in so many lies I can't even enumerate them on the internet, is telling me the truth.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. Now, you don't have to believe me. You can go out there. You can go out.
Chemo, that's fucking amazing. That you are like in your own little world, aren't
Hey,
you?
Chill,
Everybody else
you're-
is lying.
You're interrupting me.
I'm interrupting you because you just said it's the most amazingly stupid thing I've heard in a long time.
You can tell me after I've said it, Pete.
No, I'll tell you right now because what you just said is so fucking funny that I had to laugh my ass off. Everybody else in the world is wrong. Chemo is right. You know what that's called, Chemo? That's called being insane, sir. You should check yourself into you live in England. You've got like free healthcare. Go check yourself in and have your head examined, please.
Well, there's only one way to find out if I'm insane or if you're insane, which is to
Yeah,
go out
because
there.
everybody else is lying to you, Chemo. Everybody's lying to you. The whole fucking world is lying to you.
Everyone who gives information about the globe is lying.
Why can't it be that Chemo is insane, yet the people who, especially at this particular moment in time, after we keep arguing with them, taking them seriously, are not crazier than
I'm not
them?
taking him serious. I just had a great laugh. That was the funniest thing I've heard in a long time.
You
I'm sure this is
might want to reconsider what you just said. Take a long, hard, deep look at yourself. That's the show. Carry on.